Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Mrinmoy Pramanik. I teach comparative Indian language and literature at the University of Calcutta. Today we will discuss a module from comparative literature, drama in India, and the module is on Mohan Rakesh and his play Ashar Ka Ek Din. This content of this module is written by Safia Begum, a research scholar, University of Hyderabad. Mohan Rakesh was born on 8th January 1925 in Amritsar, whose father Karamchand Guglani was a lawyer by profession. His father was also engaged in social work and headed many literary and cultural organizations. Thus, Mohan inherited interest in literature and music from his father. When Mohan was 16 years old, his father passed away, leaving huge debts. Mohan had a great influence of his father. However, after his father passed away, initially it was Mohan's eldest sister who took the responsibility of the house till Mohan completed his education. Mohan did his masters in Sanskrit from Lahore, and after the partition of the countries shifted to Jalandhar with his family. Later he continued his education and completed masters in Hindi literature too. Mohan initially started his career as a teacher and taught at school and colleges. Before deciding to take writing as a full-time career, he was an editor of a short story magazine for some time. Later he shifted to Bombay in search of work. There he struggled to get a job, and finally when he decided to pack his luggage, he received a letter. He was appointed as a part-time teacher in Sydenham College of Commerce at a salary of ₹75 only. At the time, he did not eat for 3 days and accepted the offer as he experienced hunger. Later, the job became full-time with lectureship at Elphinstone College. However, he lost the job. Further, for some time, he taught at Jalandhar and in Delhi, and also for a while in a school in Shimla. After then, once again he left his job and returned to Jalandhar and joined the DAV college. Further, he quit that job too in order to become a full-time writer. Now let us talk about his works. Let us introduce his works. He is considered as was one of the pioneers of Hindi literatures or Nai Kahani literary movement that emerged in 1950s in the history of Hindi literature. He initially began writing stories and later wrote several plays. In the meantime, briefly he has also served as an editor of the journal Sarika from 1962 to 1963. His play Ashar Ka Ek Din in 1958 recognized him as a significant playwright of post-independence era. It not only influenced the Hindi literary scenario but also revived the Hindi theatre very significantly. His notable works are Ashar Ka Ek Din, which was published in 1958, and Lehron Ke Rajhans in 1968, Adhe Adhure 1969, Pairo Tale Ki Zameen 1973, Andhe Ke Chilke, Anya Ekani Tathya-Wij Natak 1973, Raat Bitne Tak तथा अन्य ध्वनि नाटक in 1974. Further, he also wrote अंधेरे बंद कमरे in 1961, ना आने वाला कल 1968 and अंतराल in 1972. For his contribution to literature and theatre, he was awarded the Sangeet Natak Academy Award. As like the play in discussion today, Lehero Ke Rajhans is also one of the noted plays of Mohan. It was first written as a short story and later Mohan turned it into a radio play for All India Radio Jalandhar and broadcast it as Sundri. Further, it took 20 years to bring out the final version of the play. Till then, he was recreating its different versions. Many distinguished Indian theatre directors like Arvind Gaur, Shyamanand Jalan, Om Shiv Puri and Ram Gopal Bajaj staged this play over the time. The whole process of writing this play was also made into a play by using Mohan's diary, writings and letters that discussed the play. The play was titled as Manuscripts and staged very creatively by Second Foundation, a Delhi-based theatre group. Now we are going to discuss the play Ashar Ka Ek Din. The play was first performed by Anamika, a Kolkata-based theatre group under the direction of Shyamanand Jalan in 1960. Following that, it was also staged by the theatre Doyen Ibrahim Al-Qazi at the National School of Drama, which is popularly known as NSD, Delhi in 1962. This play made Rakesh the foremost modern Hindi playwright of the time. The play Ashar Ka Ek Din is translated into English as One Day in the Season of Rain, jointly by Aparna Dharwadkar and Vinay Dharwadkar. Sara K. Usle has also translated it as One Day in Ashar. Now let us talk about literary style of Mohan Rakesh, which is found in this play. The writing style of Mohan Rakesh was the outcome of the changing post-independence scenarios. He, along with other writers, tried to project human life and anxieties of middle class society, which was undergoing a great shift. He has also focused majorly on man and woman relationships, specifically the woman's image as the society was shifting. Women then entered into the arena of home and were asserting identity for themselves. This was completely new and raising many conflicts in the domestic life spaces. To draw attention towards the angst and inner turmoil of a relationship, the playwright has used the everyday common language. Interestingly, this particular play, Ashar Ka Ek Din, brings Kalidasa into it. So we can have intertextual reading of this play also. Mohan Rakesh brings Kalidasa into this play to portray the essence of the times of Kalidasa, who was a Sanskrit poet and playwright. Rakesh was sprinkled some Sanskrit words and gave poetic feel specifically to be observed in the dialogues of Kalidasa and Mallika. Now let us talk something about the background of the play. The title of the play was borrowed from Kalidasa's Meghadutam, which is in Sanskrit. Mohan Rakesh's play is an outcome of feeling and experience when he read Kalidasa's Meghadutam. He said, "When I read Meghadut, I would feel that the story was less about a disposed yaksh than about a poet, alienated from his own soul, that he has poured his guilt realization into his opus." However, it is not a historical play depicting the poet's life. Rather, it presents the tension between art and politics of the time through figures specifically. Kalidasa, the greatest poet and playwright of Sanskrit, and his muse, regarding the title, according to Hindu calendar, Ashar is the beginning month of rainy season in India, and it falls between the months of June and July. Since India is largely an agricultural country, Ashar has various other connotations too. Setting of the play. In almost every play, setting is a significant part that helps one to understand and create the ambience the playwright has intended while writing the play. Many a time, the playwrights instruct the settings in writing along with the play. The setting of this play is mostly written in the text of the play. The setting of the play is very significant to understand the relationship and emotions of the two protagonists. Changing time to growing distance, each and everything is described in detail, including the paintings on the walls and other articles. The play is set in a village of Himalayas. All the three acts of the play open on a rainy day in the month of Ashar. Sound of light thunder and rain is heard before and for a few seconds after the curtain rises. Then the scene opens into an ordinary room. The walls of the room are of wood, whose lower section is calced with soft mud, and at intervals swastikas are drawn in red dye. The front door leads to a dark veranda. The door has niches on both the sides in which extinguished lamps are kept. The door at the left leads to another room. With the door open, the corner of a bedstead is visible. The planks of the bed are also calced with clay. A conch shell and lotus are drawn on it with red chalk. Occasionally flashes of lighting are seen in the large window on the right. The hearth and the surrounding clay and bronze utensils are on one side of the room. On the other side, at a distance from the window, are four large clay jugs used for storing grain. They are covered with kusha grass, which is held in place by a stone. By the window is a wooden seat with a tiger skin spread on it. There are chairs near the hearth. Ambika is sitting in one of these chairs, winnowing paddy into basket. Looking towards the window, she takes a deep breath and then resumes her work. The front door opens, and looking up, Mallika hesitates momentarily, then comes over to Ambika. The plot and summary of the play. The play is divided into three acts. In the following two remaining acts continue. Further, the set remains the same, but the swastika paintings gradually fade away and some of the articles go missing. Mallika and Kalidasa are out on a rainy day to enjoy the rain and the nature. Mallika's mother Ambika does not like her daughter roaming around with Kalidasa. Mallika returns home and finds her mother annoyed. Kalidasa has taken a vow not to marry, but Mallika loves Kalidasa. A state official comes and announces that Kalidasa is to be honored by the king of Ujjain. Kalidasa does not want to accept the honor, but his uncle Matul wants him to accept the honor of the state. Matul, Kalidasa's maternal uncle, comes agitated and angry as Kalidasa does not want to go to Ujjain to accept the honor of the king. However, Mallika, though sad, but somehow makes Kalidasa agree to accept the honor and go to Ujjain. Half-heartedly, Kalidasa agrees to go. Ambika, Mallika's mother, is worried about her daughter, and Velum, a villager who calls himself Kalidasa's friend, is interested in Mallika. Mallika does not like Velum, but he comes occasionally on the pretext to see Ambika. He does not like Mallika meeting Kalidasa. He wants to know what Kalidasa has planned to do with Mallika. Finally, Kalidasa leaves for Ujjain without any promise to return, but Mallika waits for him. Mallika is in the same house, busy in work, Now she does all the domestic chores which earlier her mother used to do. Mallika's mother is unwell. Mallika takes care of her mother. Suddenly two women scholars from Ujjain visit there. Rangini and Sangini came to Mallika's home in order to carry out their field work. They are working on Kalidasa's life. However, Mallika does not understand their strange behaviors and questions. They return disappointed. Later comes the Gupta princess, who is married to Kalidasa, comes to see Mallika. Kalidasa and his wife are on their way to Kashmir. He is the ruler of Kashmir now. In the meantime, Kalidasa has also become a renowned writer. Kalidasa does not come to meet Mallika. She is sad but does not show it. After the princess leaves, Vilom enters and argues with Mallika and inquires why Kalidasa has not come to her house. Mallika asks Vilom to leave. Mallika cries and Ambika soothes her. Mallika buys Kalidasa's works and reads them. It is again the same cloudy rainy day. Matul, Kalidasa's maternal uncle, comes to Mallika's home. Matul now works with the help of crutches. When Matul went to see Kalidasa, there during his stay in the place, he slipped on the floor and broke his leg. Now Kalidasa comes to Mallika's home. They interact and Kalidasa thinks that Mallika is still waiting for her return. Kalidasa returns to Mallika to begin a new life with her. However, Mallika is now married to Vilom. Vilom knocks at the door and seeing Kalidasa shows him his rightful place and refers Kalidasa as guest, as he is the owner of the house now. Vilom comes and asks Mallika to take care of the guest. Kalidasa and Mallika talks for a while. Suddenly, child's cry is heard from inside the room and Mallika goes to see the child. Kalidasa finds that Mallika is the mother of Vilom's child. Kalidasa leaves the home. Seeing this, Kalidasa leaves the place. The Mallika, though wanted to follow Kalidasa's step, stays behind, glancing at the child. And now let us focus on the characters very briefly. The main characters of this play are Kalidasa, he is the protagonist of the play. Mallika, she is the daughter of Ambika and muse of Kalidasa. Vilom is the self-proclaimed friend of Kalidasa. He is married to Mallika. Rangini and Sangini, they are the minor characters but very significant in the play. Rangini and Sangini are scholars from Ujjain who visits Mallika's home. Ambika, mother of Mallika. Matul, he is the maternal uncle of Kalidasa. Priyangumanjari is the princess whom Kalidasa marries. Datul, a gentleman from the royal family. Anuswar and Anunasik is state of officials, and Nikshep is villager. Now let us talk about issues and themes of the play. One among the themes which are found in the play is conflict between art and politics. The play shows the inner conflict between art and politics through the character of Kalidasa. Kalidasa consciously desired for power, but he does not resist strongly either. He accepts Mallika's words and begins his journey to become a court poet. After reaching there, whatever literary works he produced remains the reflection of his life that has spent in the village with his muse Mallika. He marries the Gupta princess and never wishes to return to see Mallika even once. Though he narrates his pains when he meets Mallika in the later parts, until then he was trying to adjust to the polarities of his life. He could not adjust himself into the royalties. Thus, tired in tattered clothes, he returns to Mallika only to find that she no more belongs to him. To present this tension between art and politics, Ren and Mallika played an important role in the play. The association between the poet, his creativity and muse is detached when he goes to Ujjain. When he is away in Ujjain, it did not rain too. The second act is dominated by the political and social life of the court and their strange ways of understanding life, culture and art that astonishes everyone in the village. Kalidasa remains connected to or in harmony within himself. Mallika binds him to art and thereby liberates him. She acts as his muse and links him to his creativity. Initially, he does not realize the importance of Mallika in his life, but later it was clear to him. Even though it is Mallika who persuades him to go to Ujjain, he silently agrees to go without any strong resistance. It was not the love for art or Mallika that was hindering him to go. He was rather afraid about his reactions and greed for power that was somewhere lying in his unconscious self. Later, when he returns, he says, "I returned because," I quote, "I was free from my love of power and authority," unquote. He further explains, "I was afraid that it would overwhelm me and change the direction of my life. This fear was not unfounded. Were you surprised that I took on the responsibility of ruling Kashmir? For me, it was natural." Thus, it was not the resistance to accept the honor, but the reaction to it was stopping Kalidasa from going to Ujjain. In Ujjain, he was trying to be happy, but he was not. Administrative duties conflicted with my work. Thus, he could not devote time to his creativity. I was struck by how far away from greatness I have moved. I was no longer the same person who had insight into what was great and glorious. He could never be the same Kalidasa when he was in the position of power and authority. He gradually moved away from his former self. The big leap in his life that distanced him from what he considered as great and glorious happened when he married the princess and accepted the political authority. Thus, Kalidasa became Matragupta. He could not maintain the two conflicting sides, that is Kalidasa and Matragupta, alive together in one person. Thus, he had to leave what was hindering him to get liberated. He decides to leave his kingdom and the name and returns to the greatness of art. The play further touches upon the issues like the relationship between man and woman, unrequited love, the conflict between culture and nature, and so on. Now, let us summarize this whole discussion. In this discussion, we came to know about Mohan Rakesh. We came to know about brief of this play, the background of the play, themes of the play, main characters of the play, and we also came to know that this is very significant play in the history of Hindi drama. But the significance of this drama is not only limited to literature, but it has immense significance in theatre also. This play has been adapted in different Indian languages as a literary text, as a dramatic text, and also adapted on the stages of different parts of India. It is translated into different Indian languages for performing it on the stages of different parts of India. We can have an intertextual reading of this play also, because there is a great influence of Kalidasa's Meghadutam on this play, and so we can read it with Kalidasa's Meghadutam, and we can see it as a reconstruction, as modern adaptation of Kalidasa and his Meghadutam. So, we can find one side the life of Kalidasa, in other side we can find the influence of Meghadutam, and these both things are coming in as modern adaptation in Mohan Rakesh's Ashad Ka Ek Din, and it is a remarkable play in the history of modern drama of Indian literature. Thank you.